Hi everyone, Siavash here, and in this video I'm going to talk about how you can edit and build a website with GHL. Uh, Recently, I got a lot of students in my coachings that they have like some difficulties about like how to do their website or funnels on a GHL, and I decided to actually do this video for you guys, business owners out there that are trying to set this up and you still have problem and you don't know how to actually navigate through that. So let's go ahead and open up sites on the left hand side. And you can see at the top bar, we have two sections, funnels and website. So the main difference between the funnel and website is obviously website has like different pages that you can have, like homepage, services, contact us, and those kind of things. Funnels is basically like a sales funnel. You want to move your customers or your leads from A to B throughout a couple of step-by-step sections or pipelines. So if you go and add a funnel, for example, let's click on like a test funnel that I have in here, you will have some steps. So you have a landing page steps, and then you have a thank you page steps, and you can keep on adding steps. A website is a bit different. You have different pages. So if I click on, for example, this one, it has 10 pages. However, the editing portion of the website is going to be exactly the same. Whether you're doing website or funnel, the edit area is going to be the same. So I'm going to open up a new page, new funnel, and talk about, first of all, how things work. So let's go ahead and test funnel. I'm just going to add a new page. It's going to be a test page. Let's go ahead and talk about the fundamental of how things actually work within the website editor. So I'm just going to click on create from blank. And this is going to go ahead and load the canvas for us. All right, so the first thing that you're going to see is asking me to click on one of these on the right hand side. I'm just going to close it. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time to talk about how things works in here. So if you look at this side on top right, we have sections, rows, columns, and elements. So this is how DHL does the structure of building a website. So in order to add any element, and by element I mean like anything that is visible, like headlines, subtitle, paragraph, button, image, anything, calendar, forms, and those kind of things, that's element. You need to first have sections, rows, columns, and then element. So the way that it works is you can click on this plus in the middle, or you can click on sections and add a section. Now you can have different type of section. Full width obviously is going to go extend all the way to the edge of your screen. Wide, medium, and small. So for example, usually when you create something like link trees and those kind of things that you want it to be like nice, just one column coming all the way down, small, but fit on the, what you call it, the phone screen, you go with small. So I'm just going to go with the full width. And as you can see, as soon as you add that, it's going to be this green thing. And then you have the section settings on the left-hand side. Now, once we have the section, the next thing that we need to add is rows. So you can either click on add row or go ahead in here and click on add row. Same thing. Now, within the rows, you have different options based on number of columns that you want to add. I'm just going to go ahead and click on the one column. And now you can see that we have this blue thing. So section, green, blue is going to be your rows, and then you got the purple, which is going to be your columns. And now you have this orange add element that allows you to go ahead and add an element. So I'm going to go ahead and just drop a subheadline. Now, a couple of things about the elements. So first of all, once you have this element drop down in here, you can keep on adding elements below that easily. So you just keep on adding this plus, or you can go to elements, add element, and then you need to drag and drop. So you can see that I can drag and drop anywhere in here, or just use this and add it at the bottom of the previous element and keep building on this. All right, now let's say that instead of having like small section in here and like the text in here, you want to have some text on the left and then you want to have some other content on the right hand side, and suddenly you see yourself in here, and no matter what you do, for example, if you want to drag this one, this is the drag function, you can't drag it to the right, it only goes up and down. And the reason for that is because the row only has one column. Now the simplest way to make this like a two-column thing that you have left and right is, you see, if I select the column and if I move my cursor slowly to the right hand side, there's two icons, one of them is trash and the other one is the clone icon. So if I click on this, it's going to automatically duplicate the column. And now, as you can see, I have two side-by-side columns that I can play with. So I can delete this one, and just have the photo there. Now, someone might come and say, hey, I want to, I don't know, align this, let's say button, let me bring this button down, to be anchored to the bottom of this image. So the way that you do it, if you click the button, now this is a section I'm going to talk about, the settings. So within the settings, we have all these paddings and margins. So as you can see, as soon as I start up playing with these guys, so if I bring up the margin top, you see how it's going to look like. Don't get discouraged when you just see that it only goes up to 100. You can actually type in any number that you like. So there you go. This is how you can kind of like align it as well. So that's one trick. The other thing that I want to talk about is editing the text. So this sometimes gets a little bit confusing. So when I click on this text, as you can see on the left hand side, I have a ton of color options. So you have color, bold text color, italic color, underline, and those kind of things. Now, let's say you want to have the action headline to be red. So how you do it? So one way of doing that, I can highlight it, make it bold, and then on the left hand side, I can choose the bold color to be red. And then let's say I want have the small text to be green. So the other option for this, I can make it italic, and then go ahead and say, hey, change the italic color to be green. Now if I make the whole thing bold, see what happens? So you have the bold text, the call becomes bold, and also the italic still stays italic, but it's bold. All right. And if I unbold, they're going to start turning into what they were, which is black, which is the default color in here. So that's one thing that some people get confused when they try to change colors and those kind of things. Next thing, if you want to hyperlink anything. So let's say I want to hyperlink the action headline. So I select the thing, and then at the top, you see that I have this chain icon. I click on it, and I can put the link in here. So I can hyperlink this to my website and click on OK. Now, as you can see, it turned blue, and I was like, okay, this was red, why did it turn blue? If you look at the settings, it says link text color. It's blue. Now we can change this to like, hey, I want it to be yellow, or I want it to be orange. And obviously, if you can't find the color in here, you can select this, and you can basically choose the color based on the hex value. All right, so that's how you actually add the the hyperlinks. Now, buttons. So for the buttons, what you can do, you can basically the action. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the action. So down at the bottom left, you have the button action. You have open, pop-up, website URL, hide element, scrolling, and all of those jazz. So pop-up opens up this thing. If you look at top left, click on pop-up. This is your pop-up. Website URL, obviously, when you click on and change the website URL, just basically put your website URL in here. Steps, because we are in the funnel builder, you can tell it to go to specific steps or just go to the next step. You can make it to make a phone call, email address, to send an email, and all of those kind of things. Now, a couple of cosmetic things that you can do with the button. So if you go to advanced, and let's say you want to make it to have like a rounded corner. So the first thing that you need to do, you need to add a full border, and then you make it solid. And then what you do, you make the color to be transparent, and then you're gonna add whatever you like, 25 pixel, and then makes it rounded. You can also add animation to it as well if you want to. So that's button effect. You can have it to rock. So it's basically going to start rocking, and a bunch of other options that you can do in here. You can play with that. You can add shadows and those kind of things as well. This is pretty much most like some of the basics of how you can actually modify the element and start building up your websites. Next thing is the image. So this is the other thing that people get confused. So how to add image. So if I click on the image and then go back to general, if you scroll all the way down, there's an image option section. And this is where you can actually add your images. So if I click on this image icon, it will open up what we call media library. So this is where you can actually upload files, upload your images in here, and this is going to be stored in your GHL account. So if I go ahead and just click on my own photo, it will bring it up. Now, the other thing that some people like to do with this is playing with the size of the image. So on the left-hand side, you have width and height. Usually what you want to do, you only want to change one of these guys because you want to save the aspect ratio. And if you don't know what the aspect ratio is, you just play with either width or height. If you update both of them at the same time, you might mess up the aspect ratio. So if I go ahead and put like 150, it makes it smaller. You can align it to the left, to the right, or to the center. The other thing that you can play with is if you see this drag thing, I can drag this to the right or to the left as well. So that's the other thing that you can actually, sometimes it's helpful for you to work with. Same thing, you got a couple of options with the image as well. You can have some shadows. You can make it circle if you want to, or just rounded corners. You can add border to it as well if you want to, image shadow effects and those kind of things, and a bunch of themes that you can use as well. Now, I'm not going to go through all the other options, like advanced options, because obviously we have like custom code that we can add if you want to, like settings, we can add us custom code, custom CSS, and those kind of things. If you want to do some custom styling, you can also drop your own JavaScript as well to basically custom HTML or JavaScript to customize your page even more. The other important thing that I want to talk about, those are more advanced. So this one is not that advanced, is the importance of making sure that you build your website mobile first. So if you look at the top left section, we have the desktop section, which is what we are on now. And then we have the phone section. So if I click on phone, you can see how it dramatically changes. Now, let's say you don't like this photo to be here on the phone. You want it to be at the top. So what you can do is I can select the column. I'm going to select this. I can go to the advanced and I can turn it off for the phone. Now it's not going to be visible for the phone, but if I go back to desktop, it's going to be there. Okay. Now let me show you what you can do. So let me bring it back. I'm going to clone this and I'm going to keep this one visible to the phone and the other one only on desktop. Okay. And the one that is on the phone, I'm going to drag it to the top. Now, if I go back to the desktop, you can see there's nothing changed. And if I go back to the mobile, I can see that my photo is at the top instead of being at the bottom. Now you might say that, okay, because it is one row, I want this guy to be closer to the text. So same thing. I'm going to clone this guy. I'm going to keep the top one for the desktop. And I'm going to keep this one for the phone. And this one that is for the phone, I'm going to change the margin top to be here. Now if I go back to desktop, everything should look the same. Now if I go back here, you can see that I have this at the top. So this is how you can actually modify to make sure that, okay, your design, your website or your funnel looks perfectly fine on both desktop and phone. Now one thing that you might have noticed is, like, if I hover over these elements, you will see that it shows a phone icon and it says mobile only. The ones that are both desktop and mobile, if you hover over them, you don't see that icon. See the difference? So you got this, but these are all visibility for both platforms, so it doesn't show, but this one does. Same thing in here. If I go and hover over this, it says this is desktop only. So this is another thing that it kind of like helps you when you kind of like debugging your user interface to see, okay, what is happening. And the other way to test this is you can save. We can probably talk about this section that pops out a little bit later in maybe another video. If you guys like this one, definitely let me know if you want another video, part 2 of this, to talk about a little bit more advanced things like custom CSS and also the SEO metadata. Now let's go ahead and click on preview. So it's going to load the website in a preview mode. I'm going to show you how you can actually test this to see how it's going to look like on phone number of your mobile phone without actually opening on your phone. So if you're on Chrome and you go to View, Developer Tool, and then click on like Inspect Elements, this thing is going to come up, and then what you're going to have is on the top section, you have this thing that allows you to switch between desktop and phone. So this is how it's going to look like on the phone, and the dimension of this phone is Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. You can change it to iPhone 12 or whatever you like. So this is how you can actually quickly test your design for both phone and desktop. All right, didn't want this one to be too long, so I'm just gonna pause here. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this one and want to know more and learn more on other techniques and other things, more advanced things on GHL and how you can actually edit this, just comment down below and let me know that you want to have a part 2. I'm gonna definitely shoot that if I get enough response. And anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. You know how to find us if you need any help with GHL, coaching, and those kind of things in regard to CRM, automation, business automation, tools, AI. Make sure that you check the link below the video, or just go to gmitechnology.com and you can get in touch with us. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.